My boyfriend and I are in a long-distance relationship. He is exceptionally handsome, while I have an average appearance and a slightly chubby figure. But no matter what others say, we always make time to video call every day, doing silly and seemingly ridiculous things without getting tired of it. To surprise him, I saved enough money to buy a ticket to the UK. That night, I waited outside his apartment until midnight. Then I saw him return, laughing and chatting with another beautiful and sunny girl. The moment he saw me, his smile froze at the corner of his mouth, and he quickly let go of the girl's hand. It's not what you think. Chapter 1. Why didn't you call me when you got off the plane? This place isn't as safe as back home. Daniel walked over, took off his coat, draped it over my shoulders, and held my frozen hands. I suppressed my emotions and pulled my hand back. I did call you, but it was not him who answered. As Daniel looked at me in confusion, the beautiful girl beside him spoke up. I'm sorry, Dan. It was my fault. You were discussing the project with them at the time, and your phone was on the table, so I answered it for you. I told her to call back later, but I didn't expect the phone to die afterward. The girl was stunning, the type that stands out in a crowd with just one glance. One look at her, and she instantly draws you in. It was the first time I had seen such a beautiful girl in real life. Standing next to Daniel, they looked like a perfect match, an attractive couple. The girl walked over and buttoned up my coat. Don't blame Dan. It's all my fault. You didn't suffer too much, did you? I shook my head. No. The girl glanced at Daniel with a familiar and natural look. If you did suffer, you must tell us, or Dan won't forgive me. Daniel, hearing this, laughed too. Who would dare bully you? Your group of admirers would probably kill me. Oh, right. I haven't introduced you yet. This is my girlfriend, Camila. This is Emily, my friend. Emily, a name that sounds as lovely as her bright and generous appearance. As Emily followed Daniel upstairs, I finally asked him, "Are you two living together?" Emily cheekily responded. Daniel's tone was helpless, but there was a hint of a smile in his eyes. Yes. Emily's original apartment had a few burly guys move in, which made it somewhat unsafe for a girl like her. I suggested she stay here since there was a vacant room in this building. Emily teased him with a gentle push. He's confident, isn't he? How can he be sure he's safer than those guys? I'm not so sure. Men are all dangerous. Don't you agree, Camila? I remained silent. Daniel led me back to his room. The furnishings were still the ones we had picked out together during our video calls. Daniel took out a blanket and an extra pillow. Did you come alone? You didn't have to come. I would have come to see you once I finished my project. Besides, I'm only here for a year, and it's almost over. In Daniel's mind, I was still the nerd who only knew how to study and had never flown abroad before. I didn't even have the experience of traveling alone, let alone crossing the ocean to another country by plane. Yes, I did come at the wrong time. I didn't question him about why he was holding Emily's hand when they returned. All my emotions had already been exhausted during the 7 hours I waited for him. The various strategies I had meticulously recorded in my notebook now seemed like a joke. When I saw Daniel and Emily smiling as they walked toward me, I felt more numb than anything else. In fact, everything had been pointing in this direction. Over the past month, since Daniel mentioned participating in a project, our original routine had been disrupted. We used to make time to video call every day, sharing even the smallest details of our lives with each other. But then, there were always excuses to skip the calls, and he claimed he was too busy even to reply to my messages. The time difference started to affect us more and more, even when I noticed that Daniel, who had never been interested in academic projects, suddenly started participating in one. And even when I sensed that Daniel was becoming increasingly distant, I still deceived myself into believing in him. Since he was busy, I decided to come and see him. You know that's not what I meant. Daniel buried his head into my neck as he used to, breathing shallowly. This project has worn me out lately, and I've been neglecting you. I've made our Camila suffer. I made an excuse to take a shower to avoid his touch. After showering and turning off the lights, Daniel hugged my waist, his voice low. Camila, I've missed you so much. Daniel, I'm on my period. Daniel paused, withdrew his hand, and seemed disappointed. His phone screen lit up, as if someone had messaged him. Without hesitation, Daniel turned on the light, walked to the desk, and opened his laptop. "You go to sleep first. I'll work on the project for a bit longer." I watched as he opened the project file without making any changes, instead taking several photos. In 1 minute, he checked his phone more than 10 times, and the smile on his face never faded. About half an hour later, he suddenly seemed to remember my presence, turned around, and apologized. "Sorry, Camila. I need to make some changes to the project. I've been really busy with this project lately, and you wouldn't really understand it. Oh, and by the way, don't be fooled by Emily's gentle appearance. When it comes to project debates, she's fiercer than anyone else. She can out-argue everyone, and her English is so fluent that all of us guys are left in awe." As he spoke, there was even a hint of pride in his tone. "Daniel, do you know her well?" I asked in a casual tone, but Daniel seemed suddenly angered. "Camila, please don't get upset, okay? I'm really tired here, too. You came all this way to see me. I don't want any unpleasantness between us." Chapter 2. Since middle school, Daniel has always been the school heartthrob. Countless girls chased after him. His desk was constantly filled with pink love letters. He was average at academics, but excelled in every activity outside of school. He was good at games, played basketball well, and had a bright and sunny personality. Starting in middle school, because of my close relationship with Daniel, people often mentioned us together. The more he shone, the more ordinary I seemed in comparison. But he never cared about what others thought and never hesitated to go to and from school with me every day. On weekends, he would hang out with me, and if I was feeling down, he would buy me gifts to cheer me up. By the time we got to high school, I decided to gradually distance myself from him, and that's when he panicked. In his haste, he explained to the person who confessed to him, "I already have a girl I like, Camila." This was the first time I heard him say he liked me. "What's wrong with her? She has a good personality. She's smart. She sings well." He listed many of my good qualities. Then he asked me if I would be with him. I agreed, because I liked him too. But the negative comments didn't change just because I was with Daniel. It seemed that, at that age, appearance mattered more than grades or character. Good-looking people were naturally luckier than those with average looks. Our photos were posted online, and there were many negative comments below. People said I looked ordinary, that my body wasn't good, and that I embarrassed Daniel. Some even edited the photos to replace my face with the school beauties, saying, "Now that looks better." Every time Daniel saw those comments, he got angrier than I did. He would find those people and argue with them, telling them they couldn't compare to even one of my fingers, and that, to him, I was the most beautiful. Knowing about my insecurities, he would compliment me every day, telling me how cute I was, and buying me lots of beautiful flowers. I spent time learning how to dress better, how to do makeup, but not only did it not have much effect, it also caused my grades to drop significantly. Daniel would wipe off my eyeliner and lipstick, saying, "Camila, I like you as you are. You don't need to change yourself." We both endured the pressure of public opinion, and just like that, we stayed together for 3 years. Then came the college entrance exams, the Great Divide. He didn't do well and was eventually sent abroad by his family. I, on the other hand, got into one of the top universities in the country as I had hoped. The day he left for abroad, I cried uncontrollably. He patiently comforted me over and over, saying, "You're so outstanding. I should be the one worrying about someone else taking you away. We'll video call every day. Keep in touch often. I'm only going for a year. After a year, I'll come back and find you." To put my mind at ease, he even introduced me to his family, and we tentatively established our relationship. I thought that with this double assurance, we would be able to get through this year of long distance. But I underestimated the time difference, underestimated the distance, and overestimated our relationship. Just as Daniel was closing his laptop, a sudden sound of shattering glass came from the next room. He hurriedly rushed out of the room. I stopped him, trying hard to keep my voice steady. "It's so late. Where are you going?" It sounds like something happened with Emily. I need to check on her. The ridiculous thing is, Emily hadn't even made a phone call, and yet he rushed over without a second thought. Chapter 3. Daniel had been gone for 2 hours and still hadn't returned. His phone was still in the room. I accidentally touched the phone, and the screen lit up. The wallpaper was a photo of Emily. She was smiling at the camera, with a colorful theme park background. I recognized the scene. Daniel had once posted about it on his social media, mentioning that it was their reunion spot. At the time, I was surprised because Daniel had never liked going to theme parks. He had promised me that when he had time, he would take me to the theme park I wanted to visit. I thought I was the exception, but it turns out I wasn't his only exception. All the boundaries he had once held had been broken by another girl. Something within me urged me to enter his lock screen password. The password hadn't changed. It was still the date of when we got together. I opened his WeChat. There was a new pinned chat at the top. Emily. Scrolling through their chat history, I saw that he and Emily talked about everything, from what they ate each day, to funny things that happened, to interesting classmates they encountered, to buying her small gifts, ordering takeout, and inviting her to hang out. It turns out that the desire to share doesn't disappear. It just shifts from one person to another. Every time he told me he was busy and tired, it was all about the little moments he shared with Emily. And in Daniel's social media posts, there were many photos I had never seen before. Among them, one comment stood out. Daniel, when are you going to make it official with Emily? I calmly closed the phone. Now, where should I go? Yes, I had come all this way without a second thought. But now, where should I go? Chapter 4. Another hour passed, and it was already 3 in the morning. Daniel finally came back. When he saw me, his eyes were filled with guilt. I'm sorry, Camila. I should be spending time with you. But something happened with Emily. You know, we're both studying abroad, and we should look out for each other. You understand, right? I turned my back to him and asked, what happened to her? Oh, it's nothing serious. She just accidentally broke a thermos and got a little burned. Nothing serious. Yet it kept him there for 3 hours. Daniel sensed my mood and his tone became slightly impatient. Camila, you really don't need to be so hostile towards Emily. She's a good girl, and you two could be great friends. He looked at me hopefully, as if he genuinely believed Emily and I could become good friends. Whenever he mentioned Emily, there was nothing but praise and concern in his words. I'm tired. There are some things that aren't worth arguing about. After a long flight and 7 hours of waiting, I was too exhausted to feel anything. Chapter 5. The next morning, Daniel told me that he didn't have any classes and could take me out for the day. I remembered the fun places in England he had mentioned during our video calls. Camila, it's not easy for you to come all this way. I took time off from my professor and the project team. Today is dedicated to my girlfriend. He excitedly pulled me out of bed. I didn't tell him that early this morning, before he woke up, I had already booked my return ticket. Daniel insisted on taking me out, saying it was to make up for last night. I agreed. We picked a few places to visit, all near the shopping district. The stores he chose were all high-end luxury boutiques. He seemed more interested than I was. I never shop at these stores. Even though Daniel was out with me, he kept looking at his phone in the store. Only when he saw me standing there did he say, almost as compensation, these are some of the most famous brands in the UK. Take a look and see if you like anything. I'll buy it for you. I asked him, when did you start paying attention to these things? In the past. He was clueless about women's accessories and lipsticks, let alone picking out such shops as date spots. Emily told me. She said most girls like these things, and I thought, you don't really have any decent jewelry. Saying this, he put down his phone, picked out a necklace, and went to pay for it first. I asked, puzzled, what are you doing? Daniel replied out of habit, oh, it's Emily's birthday soon. She mentioned liking this for a while, and I didn't want to overthink it, so I bought it as her gift. I smiled. Well, since you've bought it, can we leave now? Daniel seemed to realize something, and his eyes showed a hint of nervousness. Camila, I really came out to spend time with you. Why don't you pick one? And I'll buy it for you. I casually picked a necklace from the counter. How about this one? Daniel instinctively glanced at it and looked troubled. Camila, maybe pick another one. I already bought this one for Emily. I raised an eyebrow. Then let's go with this one. What's wrong with both of us wearing the same necklace? Daniel sighed in exasperation. Can you stop being difficult? I really don't want to say this, but it's for your own good. If you wear the same necklace as Emily, people will naturally compare you. You don't want them talking behind your back, do you? In other words, if I wear the same necklace as Emily, she'll look even better, and I'll just be a poor imitation. I said nothing. I used to be so insecure that I wouldn't dare take another bite of food, would go out covered in a mask and hat, and only wore loose clothing because I was unhappy with my figure. Daniel felt sorry for me, constantly encouraging me, saying I deserved the best things in the world, to stay together. I endured countless criticisms. Even a simple photo could be used as a weapon against me. But the old Daniel would build up my confidence bit by bit. He used to say that looks are just superficial, that people didn't see my inner beauty, so they just didn't understand me. He said that after spending so much time with me, he loved me and genuinely found me beautiful. Daniel knew exactly what kind of comments would break me. By now, I had grown used to what others said about me, but hearing these words from Daniel's mouth was different. He knew how much pressure I had endured. I fought back tears. Daniel, frustrated, ruffled his hair and bought me the necklace anyway. Camila, I didn't mean it like that. He put the necklace on me, and just then, Emily appeared at the entrance of the store. She was with a pretty handsome guy. He wasn't much different from Daniel. Daniel was visibly tense. When Emily saw the necklace on my neck, she couldn't hold back her tears anymore. They rolled down her beautiful face. The boy next to her panicked too, rushing to comfort her in his arms, and I just stood there quietly, watching Daniel's reaction. He clenched his fists. 1 second, 2 seconds. Finally, as Emily turned to leave, he didn't hesitate and ran after her. Chapter 6. I calmly took off the necklace and turned to the store clerk. Can I return this? The clerk, a young woman, bit her lip, thinking for a moment before slowly replying. You can return it, but honestly, miss, you look really beautiful wearing it. This expensive piece suits you, and you deserve to enjoy pretty things just like any other girl. Sometimes, the kindness of a stranger can break down a person's emotional defenses. Thank you, but I'd still like to return it. With the money in hand and nowhere to go, unfamiliar with the place, I tried calling Daniel, but his phone was busy. I still had my luggage at Daniel's apartment, so I went back. Without a key, I sat on the steps outside, waiting for a long time. By the time my phone's battery was down to 10%, Daniel finally called. The noise in the background was loud, like he was in a bar or somewhere similar. Sorry, Camila, why don't you keep shopping for a bit? I can't leave right now. I still have my luggage at your apartment, and my phone is about to die. Daniel thought for a moment and then said, All right, Camila, I'll send you an address. You can come here to get the key and head back. I followed the address to a nearby bar. After giving Daniel's name, someone led me to a private room. As soon as I entered, I was hit by the smell of smoke and alcohol. Amidst the crowd, I spotted Daniel and walked over to ask for the key. A guy nearby eyed me for a moment and then asked Daniel, Is she a relative of yours? Daniel avoided my gaze, looking as if he couldn't bring himself to say it. After stammering for a while, he finally said, She's my girlfriend. Oh, that look. The same malicious look I had seen from people around Daniel in the past. You're into someone like her? The others chimed in, feeling sorry for him. Yeah, I thought you and Emily were a couple. Daniel lowered his head, letting out a bitter laugh. Emily's so amazing. There are plenty of guys after her. Does she really need someone like me? We all know Emily likes you. You're the only idiot who doesn't see it. Seriously, if you make Emily sad, I'll be the first to come after you. I interrupted the chatter around us. We broke up. He's free to pursue Emily now. Then, I took the key Daniel had left on the table and walked out. Behind me, all I could hear were countless congratulations. Finally broke up with the ugly girl. We've been waiting for you to make it official with Emily. This calls for a celebration." I listened to their comments calmly, feeling numb inside. After packing my things at the apartment and just as I was about to leave, my professor suddenly called. "Xiao Jiang, I noticed you took leave to go to the UK. Are you still there?" "Yes, Professor. I have a flight back later today. Can you change your ticket and stay a few more days? We have a collaborative project with T University, and you can go on my behalf. All expenses will be reimbursed." I hesitated. T University? That's where Daniel and Emily studied. Joseph sounded puzzled. "Is there a problem?" "No, none at all. By the way, you have a senior who's currently working in M-City, UK. If you encounter any difficulties there, just reach out to him. I've already informed him, and he'll take care of you." Chapter 7. Soon, I received a new verification message. "Hello, Junior. I'm Joseph." After adding him as a friend, Senior Chen learned about my situation and arranged a place for me to stay. This place is close to the school and far from the rough neighborhoods. Relatively safe. You can stay here for the next few days. Just as I was about to reply with okay, Senior Chen sent another message. "Sorry, I didn't think it through. I heard from the professor that you've never been abroad before, and you came here alone this time. Send me your address, and I'll come pick you up." I replied, "Okay." I stood outside the apartment with my luggage, waiting for him to come. At that moment, Daniel rushed back. Seeing me, he immediately started questioning. "What's the meaning of this? What kind of tantrum are you throwing now?" I pushed him away and looked into the distance. Exactly what it sounds like. Why bring up breaking up out of the blue? You came all the way from home because you're head over heels in love with me, right? So what's this about? I even told them you're my girlfriend. I clenched my fists, feeling the cold wind biting deeper with each passing moment. I let out a few cold laughs, a chill rising in my heart. "Do you think acknowledging me as your girlfriend is some kind of bonus?" Daniel opened his mouth to respond but had nothing to say. "Daniel, I'm tired. I've been in this relationship with you for so long, and I'm really tired." Daniel finally voiced his real thoughts. "Fine, we can break up. But you tell my parents." Since Daniel's parents found out about us, they've been more eager than Daniel for us to stay together. I refused. "You've got a beautiful new girlfriend. They'll be thrilled." Daniel frowned. "My parents don't like me dating pretty girls." I smiled but didn't say anything, maybe realizing I was serious about breaking up. He asked again to be sure. "You really want to break up? Think carefully. Nowadays, everyone is about appearances. Who else would like someone like you besides me?" I looked at him, feeling like I was seeing a stranger. "Daniel, do you even remember why you liked me in the first place?" Daniel paused, saying nothing. "Never mind. It's normal not to remember. If you did, we wouldn't be breaking up." We had been together for so long that the memories of how it all started were fading, forgotten, along with any reason to cherish it. In my line of sight, I saw a car approaching, and on the other side, Emily was running over, out of breath. "Dan, you left without eating much earlier. I was worried something happened to you, so I came to check on you." I glanced at her. "You two really are like conjoined twins." Emily's eyes filled with tears as she suddenly bowed to me. "If it's because of me that you're breaking up, I'm sorry, but please don't do this to Dan. It will hurt him too." Every word was for Daniel's sake, making me look like the unreasonable one. How could Daniel bear that? He quickly moved to protect her. "You've done nothing wrong. We've never done anything. Dan, I've been thinking, could it be that Camila saw your phone when you came to see me? That's the only reason I can think of." The innocent look in her eyes hit Daniel like a revelation. His gaze turned cold as he looked at me. I didn't plan to hide it. I did look at it. It was pretty interesting. "Camila, why did you look at my phone without my permission? And since you did, you should know that there's nothing between me and Emily. We're completely innocent. She's a girl who values her reputation. Why would you say such hurtful things?" "What did I say?" I raised my voice, all my emotions exploding at that moment. "From the moment you came back holding her hand, what did I say?" It was all just his instinct to favor and protect her. while using the worst assumptions about me. So that's what it's about. Camila, just because you're not good enough doesn't mean you should be jealous of Emily's looks. Beep. A Mercedes screeched to a halt in front of us. The blaring horn was deafening for a full 5 seconds. Daniel covered Emily's ears, angrily ready to confront the driver. But as the car door opened, a man stepped out, adjusting his suit. Seeing the driver's face, Emily instinctively smoothed her hair. I furrowed my brow, trying to recognize him. The man bypassed Emily and walked straight up to me, bending slightly. Camila, right? I'm Joseph. I nodded. Hello, Senior. Senior Chin naturally took the suitcase from my hand. Let's go. Get in the car. The car sped away. Thinking back to Emily's hesitance earlier, I suddenly felt a sense of satisfaction. Joseph glanced in the rearview mirror and shook his head regretfully. They said all that about you, and you still spoke to them so kindly. Maybe I'm just born to be a pushover. It's not easy to change the deep-seated insecurity that comes from within. A girl needs to learn how to curse a little. You can't always be so good. Joseph paused, then corrected himself. Never mind. The old man doesn't want me to lead you astray. Just be yourself. You're fine the way you are. Your professor should have already sent you the materials, right? Prepare well over the next few days. When the time comes, you'll be representing him at T University to give a report. I heard there are a few project teams at T University that are researching the same field. Their intention is for you to listen to their presentations and provide some guidance and suggestions. Me? Joseph patted my head. Don't worry, I've looked over their project proposals. There are plenty of issues. Just pick a few points to talk about, and you'll be fine. Chapter 8. In the days that followed, I focused on preparing my report. Daniel's parents suddenly called. Somehow, they had learned about our breakup. Camila, have you and Daniel been having a little disagreement lately? That boy is always so rash. Please be patient with him. I calmly replied. Uncle, Auntie, we've already broken up. We're both adults and made this decision after careful consideration. As his parents, we know Daniel. He must really like you. You've maintained this long-distance relationship for so long, and you went all the way to see him. Doesn't that mean you still care about him? I used to like him, but not anymore. Uncle, Auntie, there's no need to persuade me. Not long after hanging up, another unfamiliar number called. After thinking about it, I decided to answer. Camila, what did you tell my parents? You're the one who wants to break up, so why drag Emily into this? Without hesitation, I hung up and blocked the number. Once the report is over, I'll return home and completely close this chapter. The day before the presentation at T University, Joseph sent me a few project proposals from T University students. One of them happened to be from Daniel and Emily's team. I took a careful look. I couldn't help but laugh. So this is what he had been working so hard on all this time. Chapter 9. The presentation hall was packed. I followed the professor from T University to the backstage to set up the PPT. In the backstage, I saw Daniel and Emily again. They were standing together, waiting to upload their team's PPT. When Daniel caught sight of me, he instinctively let go of Emily's hand and looked at me, as if wanting to say something but couldn't. I walked past him and uploaded my own PPT onto the computer. On the other side, Emily seemed upset with him. They even started arguing over something as simple as uploading the PPT. Feeling annoyed, I slipped out into the hallway to get some fresh air while others tried to mediate. Joseph walked over, glanced at the people in the backstage, and chuckled. Well, talk about a small world. So, feeling any extra pressure? I frowned, thinking about their project proposal. How did they convince the professor to approve their project? Joseph shook his head. I don't know. The presentation began. I introduced myself briefly on stage. Emily was sitting in the front row. When she saw it was me, she frowned. That look, the same look I've been dealing with for years. It's a look that comes with a built-in prejudice. Camila? The professor next to Emily asked her. Do you know her? This girl is very capable. The professor she's working with is a big name in this field. If you want to dig deeper into this area, you should learn from her. Another guy in Daniel's team muttered. That's his ex-girlfriend. The professor seemed surprised. An ex-girlfriend this talented. Did she dump you? He's the one who dumped her. What a shame. Daniel looked at me with a complicated expression, unable to take his eyes off me. I pretended not to notice and delivered a clear, concise presentation on the latest findings from our team. It was met with applause from the audience. I've heard a lot about Professor Chen's outstanding student. Today, I can see she truly lives up to the reputation. It's great to see such promising talent. Amid the praise, I stepped off the stage and took my seat among the judges. Next up was Daniel's team's presentation. Surprisingly, all 3 members of Daniel's team seemed in poor condition. There were at least 10 mistakes in their presentation, and the PPT was full of flaws, like something thrown together at the last minute. I listened with a frown the entire time. Emily stood on stage, lips pressed together, saying nothing. The audience was full of murmurs. She's so pretty, but who knew she'd make such a mess of a simple PPT? You really can't judge a book by its cover. Probably spent all her time on romance instead of work. The microphone was handed to me, and I critiqued sharply. The workload is insufficient. I think before considering more constructive feedback, your team should first focus on the basics. Let's not even talk about the content, just the basic formatting was neglected. How can you expect the details of your work to be taken seriously? Compared to her usual pride, Emily looked down, her face flushed with embarrassment as she stood there defending their work. Joseph leaned in and whispered, I just found out that this girl was caught two-timing, both with members of the same team, in the study abroad circle. It's not that big, so any little thing spreads quickly. It seems she was trying to secure the first author spot on this project, which is why she got involved with 2 key members of the team. Your ex-boyfriend was probably one of her victims. Thinking back to the guy I saw with her in the shopping district, I realized that must have been Emily's other boyfriend. Oh, and her other boyfriend isn't letting this go easily. Word is, it also came out that she was involved with a British professor at T University, playing the role of the other woman. Maybe she really thinks being pretty is enough to play around with so many men. Joseph kept rambling on. Honestly, I don't see the big deal. There are plenty of women in the world more beautiful than her. You're being noisy. Huh? I interrupted him. I said you're being noisy. Oh, getting bold now. Huh? Starting to boss your senior around. Chapter 10. After the presentation, I politely declined the T University professor's invitation to dinner. I needed to hurry home. Daniel rushed after me, his hair tousled by the wind in his haste. Camila, wait. I called you so many times afterward, but you didn't answer. I asked him indifferently, is there something you need? He hesitated, taking a moment to process my tone. Are you still mad? I shook my head. Daniel seemed to grasp at this like a lifeline, eagerly telling me, Camila, I'm not with Emily. I followed his lead and asked, so what? His tone became pleading. Can we go back to how things were? No. Daniel caught sight of Joseph standing nearby and suddenly sneered. Oh, I see. You already have another man by your side. I guess you came here for him. Not for me. All that pretending to care about me, acting like you loved me, it was all fake. And by the way, this senior of yours, Camila's been on her period these past few days. I bet she's been a real burden on you. Slap. Without hesitation, I slapped him across the face. In a low voice, I said, watch your mouth before you speak. Chapter 11. Not long after that day, the wife of the professor Emily had been involved with confronted her at school, in front of all the students and teachers, revealing irrefutable evidence of their indiscretions. Each photo was proof of their inappropriate behavior. Emily knelt, begging for mercy, from the wife, from Daniel, from her ex-boyfriend, from the professor, but no one could save her. Emily's actions at school led to a public reprimand and, ultimately, her expulsion amidst a chorus of scorn. At the same time, Daniel's project was revoked by T University. A flood of criticism rained down on them. The envy they once inspired now turned into widespread disgust. The scandal spread like wildfire through the study abroad community, and Daniel, overwhelmed by the backlash, chose to drop out and return home. On the day of his return, he found me one last time. He looked exhausted. The bright, handsome young man he once was had long since faded. Camila, you asked me why I liked you. I've never forgotten. I remember how you were always there for me, speaking up for me to my parents, to the teachers. You won me over, bit by bit. Camila, I've always remembered the good things about you, how pure it was. Liking someone back then, he was going through a rebellious phase, and his family was facing turmoil. He frequently broke school rules and was often punished. It was me who pleaded with the teachers, with his parents, so he wouldn't be abandoned. I told them he was actually very talented. Back then, all the parents and teachers liked obedient, well-behaved kids like me, so they softened a bit and forgave Daniel. But they also warned me to stay away from troublemakers like Daniel. It was the first time I didn't listen to the adults, determined to stand by him, seeing that I could resolve problems with the teachers. He got used to being with me, and that's how we stuck together through high school. I got in on my own merit. He got in through connections. The closer I got to Daniel, the more trouble came my way. But back then, I wasn't afraid of trouble because I liked him. I even had the courage to stand up to the negative comments. But now, I realize I don't like him anymore. Even the memories with him no longer matter. After he finished speaking, I just nodded at him. From now on, let's not see each other anymore. And we wouldn't see each other again. Joseph, watching from upstairs, couldn't help but remark, he's trying to win you back because he sees how exceptional you are now. I thought about all that had happened and asked him, do good-looking people naturally have to put in less effort than others? Everyone has their strengths. Some are good-looking, others are strong learners. But the further you go, the more you realize that ability is more important than appearance. Time and energy are limited. Instead of focusing on how to become more beautiful, it's clearly more worthwhile and rewarding for you to focus on your studies and your professional projects. In the end, I truly overcame my insecurities, not through someone else's sugar-coated words of comfort, but through earning the respect of others bit by bit as I made progress. After that, no one ever attacked me for my appearance again. When people talked about me, it was mostly about my solid knowledge, strong learning abilities, outstanding capabilities, and excellence. I looked into the distance and slowly smiled. I deserve someone better, and I deserve a better future.